Good day, Ghana. You are tuned into News Magazine with me, Irbad Ibrahim, and today, as usual, we have a very packed show for you. We will do a recap of the discussions we've had on education, with particular emphasis on preschool and all the expert views that were shared. And you also get the opportunity as our viewers to interact with us via phone today, in addition to the WhatsApp line and various social media networks you always get in touch with us on. We go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, Abena reads the trending news. Do stick and stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Do you want to enroll your ward in a school where quality basic education, discipline and moral upbringing is our hallmark? Then come to Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences Basic School. Great Asas, Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences has vacancies in preschool, lower and upper primary, JHS 1 and JHS 2, with spacious and ventilated classrooms. The school also has excellent boarding facilities for students from upper primary to JHS. Great Asas also has a well-stocked library, a school bus that picks your ward from home to school and back home, with adequate security measures to ensure your ward's safety. Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences Preschool has state-of-the-art learning materials to make learning fun for your ward. We also have the cadet corps and a cultural troupe to tap hidden talents in your ward. Locate Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences at Awoshi Last Stop, Accra. Great Asa!
Hello, lovely people of Africa. African Youth Time. It's the show, as I rightly said, that gives African youth the platform to have an up-close with living legends who are helping build the continent.
The youth of Africa, they have a lot of potential.
What is killing Africans is our inability to discover and identify our potentials and what we can do for ourselves.
Nobody makes you a leader. You become a leader.
We are not poor. The resources in Congo alone can feed the whole Africa.
Onipa how ene ne da achenti e na abribia wo sori pre ehwehwe na hoto ahoto ne nso e ma prekope enkukuhwe ase ene wo how bebre ene wo mu wenti e na Kantanka TV ya hwehwe dwumadie foforo kra ya to din se edwaso nsem wo dwaso nsem dwumadie so ye baba pinadwadefo ne abusa wo mo how ene wo mama ne wo mo efa mu na empo se edaw bitai akira a wo de pre ahwehwe won da achen ahoto eno nti hia wo nua ba ama adwobi e wo Kantanka TV ne afa edwaso nsem enfamro.
Nyankopon bo ni wiase no wotena ase din hunu se niam wo bo ye nyina ye na adebɔ nto aso ba akɔ de hye nipa nsa ne awo ene se obi bɛwo aba wiase na kola na didem obi nso so eba wiase ansa na wabenya efa akwanhyia mu enam saa yo so ma Kantanka television de dwumadie sonko kura din eda so ne makosem ebrewo na dwumadie so ena obehu obi a wofuru kube ekote ebegyina kwan ho eton saa nso na obi a nani afira na woyɛ wo wo eye ehu bibia obehu obi otete ahahai ene de wono nso so eye samana wo mo nyina ani afira na yasan so ne atitiriw atwetwe nkomo afamplewanyi nsen awaregya ye hu nsunsuaso ene nkwada a ye de omokɔ enkwaso na be mo hunu se abrabɔ na wo bɔ no achia nso emu.
Okay, you're welcome back. You are still tuned into News Magazine with me, Irbad Ibrahim. Abena, what do we have by way of trending news?
Well, as usual, we've got packed news today. And as usual, I'm going to start my day with a quote
from Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you like South Africa, or you like the person of Nelson?
Well, he is an African, so I like Africa.
Yeah, but the time has come for us to be quoting our own.
Yeah,
for all the thesis we do, whether for your undergrad certificate or your postgraduate certificate, you quote some Western scholars most of the time. We hardly quote our own. And if you even asked an average Ghanaian, how many authors do you know? Chances are they don't know.
Slim.
So it's good you are quoting Nelson Mandela.
Okay. Nelson Mandela says, a good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. This is to say, you can do anything in this world because you are capable of doing that. I mean, if whatever you want to do, you are capable, you are powerful. So just look forward and give it a good heart and then do it, and you'll be able to do it. So
do you know, in Africa, we underutilize our brains.
Yes.
There is a joke that has been circulating for some time now that different brains were put out for sale, a Japanese brain, an American one, and an African one. Which of them would be the most expensive brain? Of course, the African brain. And when the person was asked why, it is the most underutilized of all the brains. So therefore, this quote is quite profound. And I believe that the can-do spirit should be a reverberating, catchphrase for everybody within this country, but then in the rest of the continent. But we adopt a wait-and-see attitude. Okay, you said you manufacture this. Do it and let's see. You said you would manufacture a heli. And do it and let's see. You said you would manufacture an aeroplane. Do it and let's see. So therefore, I believe if we encourage ourselves and believe in ourselves, there are no limits to what we can do. Human beings have gone to space. They've landed on the moon. And certain countries have actually, anchored their flags up there. And in Koforidua, there is a school, All Nations University, I think one of the missionary tertiary institutions. The students have been able to shoot something into outer space. And then UNE, University of Energy and Natural Resources in Sunyai. In UNE, the students even came up with the idea that because there are perennial, fire outbreaks, they can come up with a system that can detect smoke in any part of the country and then alert the Ghana National Fire Service. So therefore, this is a very good quote coming from Nelson Mandela.
Okay, so I'll quickly take you to our news headlines for today. This is from Ghana Web. Bawumia launches e-mall.
That sounds really interesting, very exotic.
Yes,
an e-mall. The substance of this initiative is good. People that have small and medium enterprises would want to market. And young ladies are doing so wonderfully well on Instagram. Look, there are ladies that run shops where they sell wigs, cosmetic products, when in fact they don't have any shop anywhere. They promote posts on Instagram and Facebook, and there is a meetup point for fellow ladies to take up the wares. But the real advice we'll give is that don't go out to do business late at night and meet the client at a public place all the time. So His Excellency the Vice President is pushing the envelope further. That instead of paying maybe 50,000 Ghana cedis to get yourself a shop, you can actually do that online. So that we've seen, vestiges of that. Tonaton came quite early, and then OLX is also in the system, and we have Jumia.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's Jumia or Jumia.
Well, people usually refer to it as Jumia.
Jumia. Is it a Ghanaian company?
I'm not sure.
Yes.
It should be an Asian something.
And then there is another one, Teso.
Teso,
yes. Meaning, which literally means reduce.
Reduce the price.
So Ghanaians have become much more Teso. And director says, Teso.
Teso. Oh,
yes.
Okay. So it's not a tree word then?
No, it is tree. Teso, meaning that we have slashed it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we've reduced it to the barest minimum.
Okay.
So therefore, Ghanaians have caught the fever and the euphoria. People are doing a lot more online. So therefore, I commend His Excellency, the Vice President and government for coming up with such initiatives. It will be very helpful to young graduates because getting a space at Accra Mall, that would be too expensive for a young graduate. And even Movenpick, getting a shop there will be difficult. So an e-mall provides access to thousands of clients that can tap into the products such young people are selling.
And I do recall a few weeks back, he actually launched another one at the Harbour, the paperless.
Yeah, that was a few months ago, even though there have been concerns by freight forwarders that something should be done about it. But this is a young vice president, a tech-savvy vice president, and he's on WhatsApp. He's on Facebook and all the other social media platforms. So therefore, I believe it's the right step to go. The world has changed. Very soon, you will actually seek the services of a babysitter online, and the person will be able to come home and then do whatever you need to be done. And so, yeah, so the internet usage has become very instrumental to our development as a country.
But why the mall? Because I feel there had been few ones, as you mentioned, the Tonatons and all that. So why the mall? Has it got something, I mean, relating to what happened at the mall few days ago, I mean, last week?
No, far from it. You see, you don't, it couldn't have been a knee-jerk reaction. This must have taken months of preparation for His Excellency, the Vice President, to announce such a groundbreaking, you know, technological stride, so to speak, in the Republic of Ghana. So, Abena, to that end, I think it's a step in the right direction. Questions we need to ask will be, where do you register if you are a small business? How do you take pictures? How do you verify before you buy? Because one bad thing about online shopping is that you can get counterfeit products. You know, very bad quality products, so to speak. So who does the quality control? And then how do we keep people's money safe? How do we get value for money? These are questions we would need to ask the technical people that have put into action what the vision of His Excellency, the Vice President, is.
Okay, let's hope we patronize it anyway. Yeah, and then I move to the next one. Class 6 pupil drown in Densu River. This is from City News. This is another sad story. I mean,
we are discussing preschool. It's heart-wrenching. What very infants, infantile, Ghanaians go through. Schools under trees. And when we talk about underdevelopment, they mention the north, but there are parts of even Greater Accra region. You go there and you see the kind of classrooms.
Is this really Accra?
Yes, so untidy. The children don't get the attention they need, and when they are on break, the kind of food they buy, so we only deceive ourselves that Ghana is a middle-income country on the lower end, but then when you go beyond the central business district, health, delivery is poor, education is in a shambolic state and all that. So therefore, we commiserate with the families of the 6 that have drowned. It is the onus lies upon government to make sure that we keep children safe while they seek education to become better citizens in future.
And I also think the least we can do is to at least give these people, especially the children that goes to school crossing rivers and bridges and all that, at least life jackets should be given to them.
Look at the George Bush Highway. Many people have been knocked down. And when we were younger, we are still young anyway, roads were like alleyways. They told us, look left, right, and then cross. But crossing the N1 for a 6-year-old child, for an 8-year-old child, and people were clamoring for overhead passes, footbridges. They start some and then they stop, and they don't complete them. So therefore, the lives of these kids should be of paramount importance to us as a country. And the advice I would give parents from low-income families is that maybe you can't afford a school that will pick your child from your doorstep, or you don't have a car that takes your child to school. If the child is so young, make sure they are in the company of an older person when they go to school, because it's very risky out there.
Okay, away from that, the next one says 344 Get Found project documents can't be traced. This is from Peace FM Online.
The issue of corruption, Ghana Education has got a trust fund. Normally, when you go abroad to do your master's, you get covered.
Yeah.
But apart from that, there are projects that take place. So the Auditor General gives reports. But my problem with the Public Accounts Committee is that every now and then they bring people and they televise questions they ask them. And some of the answers are not convincing. But what happens after that? How do we hold people accountable for misappropriated state funds, so to speak? So for me, it doesn't suffice that we only mention these things in news items rather than holding people accountable for mismanaging our resources as a country.
So who are responsible for supervising,
There needs to be a
institutions?
structure, there needs to be a system in place to monitor, check and cross-check. But unfortunately, people get compromised along the line. So for example, if the person is fleecing the state of maybe 1 million Ghana cedis, and the person can part ways with even 50,000 Ghana cedis to pay the monitor or the supervisor, then it tells you how deep-seated the rot is within the system. So we don't have to only blame politicians. People in public service, civil service, all of these should be patriotic and nationalistic to serve this country and make sure every single pesewa that is from the taxpayer is used for what it's meant for.
I hope that happens. And away from that, the next one says world's largest underwater restaurant nears completion. Wow, a restaurant built underwater. I mean, this is serious.
Abina, before we go into that, a viewer is asking, and today we'll get really interactive with you, our viewers. We can hear you today, so there will be a phone-in segment. Do we have a very strong internet regime to support the initiative of His Excellency the Vice President? Be under no illusion. Take a bus from the center of Accra. It drives 2 hours away from Accra. You lose signal. So therefore, you sit in Accra and you can live stream. But what about someone in Pongburgo Yoyo, for example, or a remote, village in the Western region? And jokes are being told about areas within Accra where you have to climb a tree before you can make a call because the signal there is quite weak. So therefore, Ghana goes beyond Accra. So when we think, we should be generic in our thoughts and then rope in all Ghanaians from deprived communities. And Google is doing great. Yeah. Yes, Google has mapped out, some time ago you saw some cars, they belonged to Google. So we have a very good, GPS system in Ghana now. Yeah. But are we able to send strong internet connection to various parts? In Nigeria, YouTube is now free. So we talk cyber optic, we talk other things. I believe the time has come for us to put Wi-Fi in every part of the country so that people can have good internet access. And the telecommunications companies, data is too expensive. Yes, data is too expensive. In other parts of the world, you pay less for the amount of data we have in Ghana. And internet is life now. Without internet, how do you feel when you can't go onto Facebook, when you can't access your WhatsApp? So the device literally becomes a white elephant, so to speak. So I agree with the viewer that we need to strengthen the electronic regime and make sure internet is accessible and is fast in various parts of the country
and
to support.
Cheaper.
And much cheaper. It's true. Internet is very expensive. Compare with neighboring countries and you realize that we are paying too much for internet connectivity.
Okay, this is our next headline. This is a Balungu Nabisi school people learn on bare floor.
Abina, maybe you need to stop mentioning some of these. They break my heart.
Yes,
but it tells you that there is a lot of work that needs to be done to take care. Yes. Yes.
Okay, away from that, Ghana deepens trade relations with India through Ghana Indian Trade Anniversary Chamber.
I think there was, before we talk India, before I chipped in with what the viewer had to say, there was a story about an underwater.
Yeah. Did
you read that one? Can you take the story again?
Yeah, sure. World largest underwater restaurant nears completion.
You like talking about restaurants. You remember last week you were talking about a very expensive restaurant.
Well, there are exciting stories though. But
yes. You know, a restaurant underwater.
Yes.
That is mind-blowing. But we have Nzulenzo. You know Nzulenzo is a whole community on water.
Wow.
Yes, the houses are on water. Make time and go to Nzulenzo.
Oh, which part of which region?
I don't know, but it's in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's in Ghana. Okay. It's in the western region.
But this is actually built under the water.
Whether under or it is on water. So we have something similar in the Republic of, and it's so beautiful.
Wow.
And mothers on canoes go about buying food produce to cook in the house.
Wow.
Children take their school backpacks and then they are in a canoe revising. Whoa. It's a beautiful scene, so African.
I can just imagine.
And I believe we need to market some of these tourist areas. You know, in Africa, we are quite funny. Yeah. You go into the movie industry, they think the best movies are the movies where you show Trasaco. Yeah. Trasaco is not more beautiful than a place in New York, for example. So to market ourselves to the world, we should be natural and original. So let's show the things we have. And I believe the rest of the world will be interested. If you are talking about restaurants, a white person will be interested in taking food while on a canoe because they use yachts and cruisers and all that. So in a canoe with no, air conditioning, that would be a very interesting experience. So therefore, let's market what we have and the tourist sites we have. Let's make them attractive. Our coastline is one of the dirtiest in the world. The beaches we have, some of the dirtiest beaches in the world are in Ghana. Human excreta, refuse dumps, plastic materials and all that. So government has come up with a coastal development authority, and I believe that they will look into that and make our coastlines. People go to the Bahamas because the Bahamas has beautiful beaches. So we can do the same for the Republic of Ghana.
Sometimes I ask myself this question. Is it, why are the beaches out there or in the Western world looking blue, all nice and clean, but ours is looking so dark and brown? I don't know.
Your sewage system, your sewage system is terrible. Lavender, there is a place where the...
Lavender Hill.
Lavender Hill, yes. You understand?
Yeah.
Places,
I got there and I got choked.
Yeah, exactly. These should be remote places from human inhabitants or habitats, far away. And then where does our sewer go? And people are talking about, recycling. I'm sorry to say this. Do you know human feces can be used to generate gas for our gas cylinders? Yeah. So we are wasting away important products.
Biogas, yeah.
So how do we pump money into some of these initiatives? There are engineers in Ghana who ask people to come and then, use their washrooms or use their places of convenience because they need more of that to regenerate energy. And so therefore, we are sitting on a gold mine, but we don't know that these waste products are in fact assets for us. So for you to see the blue, beaches, blue seas you want to see, we need to work on our sewage system. And we built in a very haphazard way. Real estate agents just build anywhere. For as long as it's a parcel of land, there is no consensus to agree that this is the passageway for liquid waste. This is the passageway for solid waste. We don't do any of those. So therefore, we need to do a rethink as a country and look at the basic things that affect us. And hygiene and cleanliness, for me, are very, very important. They are a good selling point for us. Kigali is enjoying that, and Accra can do the same.
So what advice can you give? Because I quite remember we actually went there for a story, and when we got there, there are individuals there. If someone is coming to put waste, human excreta there, you'll have to pay the individual. And if they see a cameraman or woman, if they see the news team there to take shots, they would never allow you to do that. And I ask myself, why? Is it that the government's initiative to take over that project, or it's an individual thing? Because I don't really get it. Why is it that the individual should be there taking money, charging people to put waste there. What are we going? I mean, and we're killing our aquatic fishes and all that we're supposed to be enjoying. This is actually killing them.
Yeah, fish. And the fish we have, they need to be protected as well. And then again, do you know sometimes people fight over KVIPs?
Yes. And it's a serious thing.
For the sake of your life, I think every house should have a place of convenience. I don't know anywhere in the world where people queue outside to access a place of convenience. I don't know of anywhere in the world. So we should grow above KVIPs and make it a matter of legislation that anybody who puts up a building should have a place of convenience. Okay, so finally on the...
that boils down to our settlement system, because some people are living in the... Exactly.
What, you know, build the kind of, you know, so I believe,
Anyway, that's all for our trending news for today. I'll take a leave of Irbad and I'll be back with comments. Okay. I think I'll...
Okay, no problem. Today is going to be very interactive. Abena will join me on the seat as we interact with you, how far we've gotten with our discussion on preschool education. We need to credit the websites from which we get some of these stories: City Newsroom, My Joy Online, Ghana Web, and a host of others. And also Kantanka TV. Kantanka TV has got a very vibrant website. We go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, Abena and I interact with you. Do stick and stay with us.
Do you want to enroll your ward in a school that has keen interest in academic excellence and sound religious upbringing? Then Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences is the place. Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences, Great Asas, offers general arts, business, home economics, visual arts, general science and technical courses in auto mechanics and applied electricity. Great Asas has well-equipped laboratories for all the science-related courses, an ICT laboratory, and a well-stocked library. Excellent boarding facilities are available for both boys and girls with adequate security measures to ensure your ward's safety. Students also have the privilege to go to Apostle Safo Suaye at Gwamu Ampota for practical lessons with the proprietor, Apostle Dr. Engineer Kwedo Safo, for 1 month during the long vacation. We also have a school bus that picks your ward from home to school and back home. Great Asas has a cadet corps, a choir, drama and debating club to harness the hidden talents in your ward. Locate Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences at Awoshila Stop, Accra, Ghana. Great Asas.
Ghana eyo maya nyame ehrayen se eba na efamagudi a yewo efamagudi asne oman bia se oman bia betu mpon so a ne titiri no agina abodie mu nyansape ene nhwehwemu nanso Ghana eyo oman a area ewo abodie mu nyansape ene nhwehwemu onim se oman yi mu yewo nkrofo a akwadre ewo abodie mu nyansape ene nhwehwemu na wadwe akwom so ana de ebema oman etu mpon ene se yebeji de yetumi ye atum na yaji ye ho adi na yenya metumi aye honhom Ghana hia me Ghana hia wo Ghana hia ye nyina enti hia me afia safo akantimpo e wo Kantanka exclusive jumedie so na yendwene oman puntu mu we gonna chase those crazy
Do you want to enroll your ward in a school that has keen interest in academic excellence and sound religious upbringing? Then Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences is the place. Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences, Great Asas, offers general arts, business, home economics, visual arts, general science and technical courses in auto mechanics and applied electricity. Great Asas has well-equipped laboratories for all the science-related courses, an ICT laboratory, and a well-stocked library. Excellent boarding facilities are available for both boys and girls with adequate security measures to ensure your ward's safety. Students also have the privilege to go to Apostle Safo Suaye at Gomu Ampota for practical lessons with the proprietor, Apostle Dr. Engineer Kwedo Safo, for 1 month during the long vacation. We also have a school bus that picks your ward from home to school and back home. Great Asas has a cadet corps, a choir, drama and debating club to harness the hidden talents in your ward. Locate Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences at Awoshila Stop, Accra, Ghana. Great Asas.
Onipa how ene ne da achenti e na abribia wo sori prayer hwehwe na ahoto ne nso e ma prekope en kukuhwe ase ene wo how bebre ene wo mu wenti e na Kantanka TV ya hwehwe dwumedie foforo kra ya to din se edwaso nsem wo dwaso nsem dwumedie so ne baba pne adwadifo ne abusa wo mo how ene wo mama ne wo mo efa mu na empo se edaw bitai akira a wo de pre ahwehwe won da achen ahoto eno ti hia wo bia ba ama adwobi e wo Kantanka TV ne emfa edwaso nsem emfa mbro.
You're welcome back. Today I sit with Abena Safo and we'll do a recap of the discussion we've had in the past 6 episodes on preschool education. And you can interact with us via phone by calling on 0276 907 322. I repeat, 0276 907 322. Or you can send us messages on our WhatsApp line on 0242 817 239. I believe both numbers will be boldly inscribed on your screens. Abena, you're welcome. Thank you. So by and large, what has been your view of what we've had in the past 6 episodes? We had Mr. Anis Hafa, Nancy Elpo. We also had Linda Ayayi. And then we had Dr. Jerry Corton Sr. We had the proprietress of Troy Montessori School. What has been your general perception about how far and the angles we've taken preschool?
Well, in relation to our preschools in the country, I think we are lacking. Yes, we are lacking because, I mean, there had been videos that had been shown. Others are good and others are poorly managed. And if you're comparing that to the outside world, we are far behind. That's how I see it. We are far, and therefore we need to sit up. So and government should do their best to let us, get to that level that we need to get to in order to put up that preschool to a standard one. Yes. So
what do we do? Is it a lost battle, or you think it's salvageable?
No, it's not a lost battle, because I think it's not a lost battle because we can always do it. And so if you want to do it, we can do it. So if you want to catch up, because we actually copied that from the Western world. And so if you want to put up a preschool, it should be, the people or the stakeholders should be scrutinized. Make sure you achieve or you attain that standard, that level, before you be allowed to put up a preschool.
Okay. So the regulatory regime should be strengthened. You may join us on 0276 907 322. You can call into the program. But we go now for a few insights. Let's listen to the views that were shared by Mr. Anis Hafa on the concept of preschool education. We'll be back shortly. Anis, you are an expert on this area. I'll ask you this. You are an educationist. Chances are 9 cases out of 10, you would want your kids to toe your line. And there is a father who is a lawyer. He wants his son to grow up a lawyer or an engineer or anything like that. At preschool level, is it possible to find out the idiosyncratic capabilities of kids to want to give them the long rope to decide what they become in future?
That's a wonderful question, and I'm glad you've asked it. Now, then we go back into your theory of education. And there are 3 wonderful people that I would like to mention. Let me give you, before I mention them, let me give you an instance. Many times, let's say I'm 30 years old, and I'm teaching a 10-year-old kid. We expect the 10-year-old kid to understand us, who are 30. Now, that's setting psychology upside down. Because the thing is this, if you want a 10-year-old child to understand a 30-year-old person, then our assumption is that those kids have lived another 20 years to be at par. So what we do is this. We need to understand the people that you're teaching. And that takes into consideration a question that you're asking. Because we have been 10, if I'm 30, I've been 10 years before. So I understand the dynamics of being 10 years old. That comes back to the 3 people that I want to mention. I'm sure you've heard of Maria Montessori.
Yeah, a very popular name.
Her concern is that it's my business to begin to understand children. The idea is this: what will serve the superior interest of the people under our purview, the people that we are growing, so to speak. And then, you know, there was a time where people had to be either doctors, engineers, and nurses, and so on. But you see how things have changed now. Now, the issue is this. We are even raising people into professions that have not been defined yet. That's where critical thinking comes in, where we begin to look at uncommon sense in terms of what we can perceive the needs of the next 5 years, the needs of the next 10 years, the needs of the next 20 years, and prepare ourselves accordingly. So what has happened in this day and age is that computers are giving us opportunities to explore things that haven't been explored yet.
Yes, sir.
You know, what Robert Frost, a poet, used to say, go the way where others haven't been. You know, the uncharted territory. You know, all of that is where civilization is heading.
Okay.
That where are the possibilities now?
Okay.
So all these things have to be factored factored into account so that we are not unduly stressing our young people to go places where they don't want to go.
Would you recommend robotics as a mainstream course of study at all levels of our education? This should be your final words then.
That's it. Artificial intelligence is where it's at. You know, so, and kids are very interested in that too. Where, again, what robots do, they'll go to places where human beings don't want to go. You know, even in terms of mining and so on. These days, even in terms of medicine, I mean, it's everywhere. So we have to begin to introduce that, that we are not going to mainstream everyone for the academics of old, but to look into the future in terms of where our needs are.
You spoke quite copiously about language. I'm sure when your daughters, your 3 beautiful daughters were kids, you were speaking English to them.
Yeah.
Would you recommend the Akan language or the Ewe language or the Dagbanli language at the preschool level?
You know, when it comes to local language, it's so important to me because that's how I grew up. You need to be confident in terms of expressing opinions and so on, but then you are competent in a way that is suitable to you, the mother tongue. So what I really insist is that parents should make sure that whatever language that they speak, their children need to understand it.
Hello, lovely people of Africa, African Youth Time. It's the show, as I rightly said, that gives African youth the platform to have an up close with living legends who are helping build the continent.
The youth of Africa, they have a lot of potential.
What is killing Africans is our inability to discover and identify our potentials and what we can do for ourselves.
Nobody makes you a leader. You become a leader.
We are not poor. The resources in Congo alone can feed the whole Africa.
You're welcome back. Those were the views that were shared by Mr. Anis Hafa. I think we missed a few calls during the insert. You can call back on the number that is inscribed on the screen, 0276 907 322. Abena, you have a few text messages.
Yes. Okay. You talk about emails. It's not bad about the internet access is very poor in Ghana. Please let's remind the government about the world's best place for tourism, center of the world. This can help generate millions of dollars if we make the place a beautiful one. This is from Fusu Dako from Pokwasi.
I think that was during the trending news segment. Yeah. And then the other.
And then another one from Abu from Tamale. You guys always make my morning.
Okay, Abu. Keep watching. And I believe the exhaustive way we are treating the stories. You know, the problem we have in Ghana is that we know within the various sectors, including education, there are challenges, but we only gloss over the problems. Yeah. That is why we keep saying we don't need any additional talk shows. We need shows that will resolve the problems we have. So we are not only going to do a scratch on the surface. We'll make sure policymakers get to know the challenges we have and then tackle them, so to speak. So for me, it's a good step. And then Abu from Tamale, you can always be assured that there will always be something refreshing, something that is forward-looking, and something that is... hello, I think we have a caller. Hello? 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 Yeah, so Abna, those are the views I think that need to be shared. I think we lost the caller, so you can call again on 0276 907 322, and when you call, kindly lower the volume on your set.
So we've actually got another comment.
Okay, the next comment.
I really love the concept behind this show. Good job, KTV. Alex from Nzulezu.
Yeah, oh, Nzulezu.
Yes.
Maybe Abina, you need to talk to Alex so that he makes arrangement for you to visit Nzulezu. So you see the best that we have to offer in terms of tourism in the Republic of Ghana. So the concept is new, and kudos to the managers of Kantanka TV and also the very solid production team we have. The topics we treat are going to be dealt with quite exhaustively, so that we ask the right questions and then demand answers, not only answers that are verbally used to convince people, because in Ghana it's all about we are cutting the sword, it is in the pipeline, and I don't know how long that pipe is. So
it never reaches its destination.
Yes, there's a caller. Hello, your name and where you calling us from?
Ghana is all about we are cutting the pipeline. I don't know how long that pipe is.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Kindly lower the volume on your TV. I'm still here. Your name and where you calling us from?
Hello.
Hello, your name and where you calling us from? And you can actually put off your TV set. It's quite a challenge with phone systems. Normally, after dialing the number, when it goes through, you can actually put off your TV set, and we will still hear you so that we don't get any echo in the background. So you can also call to share your views, 0276 907 322. Yeah, so I was talking about the pipeline. You talk about a problem is always we are working on it, we are on it, and you never see results.
Yeah. And sometimes I think we don't plan enough, because if you're putting up an initiative, you need a long-term planning, and if you plan, everything you do would get better. You would do it, and you would do it your maximum best. But if you don't plan, you end up, it's like you not knowing your direction.
How about tackling the challenges within the education sector just to win votes? You don't see that as a major problem?
It is. It is a major problem, because let's say back in the UK, if you're looking at the educational system, I mean their preschools, it's
you
so...
went to school in the UK.
Yes, it's so nice.
Yeah. So at this juncture, I think we'll go for the second insert. And we were here with the former director of Ghana Education Service, Madame Nancy Yelpo, and she spoke about the role of preschool education in national development. She looked at the perspective of the director and the kind of regulatory measures we put in place. Let's go for the views of Nancy Yelpo, and we'll be back shortly. Aburi is just a stone's throw away from the central business district, relatively speaking. Yes. Then go to Pungburgu Yoyo, yes. Go to far-flung villages, yes. In the western region, yes. In the eastern region, yes. In the Brunhafu region. Yes. How widespread are, preschools in Ghana, or they are meant for people that belong to the league of the elite? So beyond Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale, there are no preschools anywhere else in Ghana.
Yeah, I will say so. There are preschools all over. I come from a village in the Upper West. There are preschools there. But then you don't have people patronizing it, because there's a grandmother to wash the nappies, there's a grandmother to take care of the child. That agency for having your child going to preschool is not there. Besides, the culture does not have that attitude that if you don't go to preschool, you'll not come out a good scholar. I never went to preschool, even though my daddy was a teacher. We all played around, walked bare feet, and then we came up. You go and sit in the classroom at the secondary school level, at the university level, with people who started preschool from their mommy's stomachs, if I may say so. So what really are we after? You start school right from age 1, age 2, and I never go to preschool. But we end up in the same lecture theater in the university. Am I a half-baked educated person? I'm saying we need to look at these things and our attitude towards what we want for the Ghanaian.
Mommy, we have very little time and so much to talk about. I'll ask you this question. Kids with disability, yes. Is there any provision for them in preschool? Because when you look at the National Accreditation Board, when you put up a university now, there should be a separate staircase or elevator for people that are cripples and they have other special needs. At that tender age, some people are born with disabilities. Are there provisions for them?
There are provisions for all these. But like I kept saying, it's an issue of monitoring the system. Because if you are going to create a school, you include all these people. Like the autism schools, they take special interest on what are their needs. And so we should take special interest on what are the needs of disabled children. They cannot climb, they cannot move this way. But the thing is, are they there? Are they provided? That is the multi-million question. In fact, I don't want to be like a prophet of doom. I just want to give a call, an early call that we need to delve more into preschool than we really are doing now. But we should encourage ourselves, at least we've started it. Rome was not built in one day. We should always encourage ourselves that we can improve the situation.
Like, Mommy, there's one thing that is of utmost importance, bullying.
Yes.
You can see in this case, the girl feels bullied by the teacher. But amongst the kids, how do we tackle bullying? Quite briefly, then we go for our last commercial.
Yeah, bullying happens from nursery up to the university. You know, ponding is a way of bullying. Most people are ponded in the universities. At least when I was there, people were ponded, even females. It's some kind of a culture. But the thing is, some of them are so severe that they affect the children psychologically or physically and can take them through life. So bullying in all forms. Fortunately for me, I went to a convent school. At my time, there was no bullying, so I escaped it. But it's all over. It's not good for the health. It's not good for anything. So educationists must supervise and make sure the directors know that bullying should not be encouraged.
Thank you so much for being succinct, Mommy.
This actually leads us to our first question of the day. I want to ask if this system really fits our curriculum in Ghana, because I feel this is only for a busy parent to keep their children in school and get busy with their job.
Mommy, how do you respond to that? There are people in the informal sector, but they are rich enough and they have the luxury of time. Is it fit for purpose for all parents?
Well, I know even professors who don't send their children to school unless after 4 years. Once they can get somebody to take care of them. Remember, the child learns a lot about the environment. Now, the school is sort of a cut-off space. There are things you learn at home that you can't learn at school. Let the child discover the environment first before he goes to preschool. If you have the money, why not? It's coming up, we have to live up with it. There may be a time when we have to go to preschool.
Okay, you're welcome back. Sadly, we've had some few technical hitches with the phone line, but I'm announcing it again. You can call, and I hope this time around we get to speak with you. The number to call us on is 0276 907 322. Abner, you heard Madam Nancy Yelpo. She was quite candid and frank that there are challenges within the educational sector,
yes,
especially with preschool.
Yes, with reference to what Madam Nancy Yelpo talked about, I mean, people with disabilities, there are lots of the schools, or most of the schools in Ghana, I had not seen any demarcated place for people living with disabilities. Talking of their toilet facilities, or even people with wheelchairs.
Okay, there's a caller. Hello, your name and where you're calling us from. I hope it becomes stable this time. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good.
Good morning. Thanks for making time. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm Darko, calling from Kumasi.
Darko from Kumasi. Welcome
yes,
to the show.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And I've been listening to your program since it started.
Okay.
For Madame Nancy Yelpo's contribution especially, I realized even those at the top of affairs do not know how to deal with the challenges of preschool.
Can you speak up a little bit so that you become audible enough?
All right, thanks. Yeah. Listening to Madame Yelpo, Madame Nancy Yelpo, I could understand that those on top of affairs are finding it very difficult to handle the challenges that preschool face in Ghana. You know, Madame Yelpo doesn't sound convincing to me at all. You know, whatever you ask him, you ask her, she responds to issues as, we are dealing with it. You know, it's all over. Blah blah blah. You know, she doesn't seem to be on top of issues at all.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you so much for your call. We do appreciate it. And the caller shared his views from Kumasi. He says there seems to be a yawning disconnect between decision makers and the reality on the ground in terms of preschool. In fact, there was even an admission on the show that government did not have any arrangement for preschool because it was in private hands. So do you think that is a legitimate concern?
Well, I think that shouldn't be the case, because from head to toe, from the beginning of school to the tertiary, that's the preschool to the tertiary, it should be in the hands of the government. Government should manage that, because if government is not managing and it's left in the private hands, I don't really know, because that's the reason there are structures and we are not following the structures, or we are actually not using the structures to put up what we're supposed to do. but rather everyone is doing what they feel like doing. Because you go to other schools, you see nice facilities, you see what would push the children to learn, and you go to other schools, you see children sleeping all day.
Okay, we have another caller. We'll speak to this caller and call it a wrap. The phone lines have not been too gracious. I believe they will get better. Hello, your name and where you calling from? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you speak up a little bit? Your name and where you calling from?
Okay, my name is Yima, calling from Takrady.
Yima from Tadi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Yima, you can share your opinion.
Okay, I think the preschool, some of our parents think it's a waste of money to send their children at this tender age to go to school. Because the children at that age, they don't know anything, they can't learn anything good. So unless maybe the child turn up maybe 4 or 5 years before they can take their child to school. But I think when you go to the foreign countries, as soon as the mother gives birth, maybe 6 months or 1 year, the parents will take the child to school for the child to learn 1 or 2 things, for their parents also to be free and go to work. So I think the preschool in Ghana needs more attention.
Okay.
I think
Thank you so much for your call. People don't understand the concept of preschool. They think the children just go and sleep and eat in the canteen and come back. Okay, so to wrap up, Abena, what do you think finally we need to do? We've interacted with the actors in the industry. Our viewers have got some concerns as well. I believe there will be another opportunity for us to do a recap of what Madam Linda Ayayi, as well as the other, and also Dr. Kotson. He shared some really wonderful views and the kind of curricula he thinks we should use at preschool level. So in closing, what do you think we should do as a country?
Well, I think we should have a structure, because if you have a structure, if you have a structure, all the preschools should follow that structure, so they'll be able to put up good preschools for our children to go. And I also feel that children should not be taken to preschool too early, because sometimes you need the bond between parents and kids and children. So taking a child to school that early, I mean, would never create or put that bond between family and parent and children. And so we have to look up for that. And the most important thing is we should have a structure.
Thank you so much, Abena Safo. When Barack Obama came to Ghana, he said Africa didn't need strong men, it needed strong institutions. This show comes off on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. in the morning, and then you catch a repeat on each broadcast day at 10:30 p.m. And then on Saturdays you can tune in and watch at 11 a.m. and then on Sundays at 3 p.m. We will come your way on Wednesday to recap the views of others that were shared on this platform in terms of preschool education. So for the many people who wanted to get in touch, your calls came through, but then we had a little technical hiccup. That will be resolved, so that on Wednesday you can freely share your opinions with us. This show, there is one final text message. Can you read it? Then we call it a wrap.
This from Anan. This from Anan Edukrum. I wish the Ministry of Education and GES give the best of support to this program. Good job, Kantanka TV.
Thank you so much, our friend from Edukrum. This show is brought to you by a very dedicated team led by Obuobi. Then we have Asenso, Efriye, Shasha, Ikuya, Rhoda, Sir Charles, the cameraman, and also Kofi Richmond, who is also a cameraman here, and also Kweku Brother, who is in charge of sound. So we come your way on Wednesday. Keep praying for Mother Ghana and keep watching Kantanka TV. And Abena, thank you so much for making time to be with me. We'll be with you on Wednesday. Take care. Bye-bye.